Well, we are obviously celebrating UNM this week and its legacy, and what better way to do that when with some of the people who went there and who have made some significant contributions, not just to the university, but to all of the country. And this morning, Edward Lewis is joining us. He went to UNM not that long ago. He also co-founded one of the largest African-American multimedia organizations in the country. Edward, good morning. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. And yourself?
Doing very well, thank you.
You love coming back to the Duke City. You don't live here anymore.
No, I don't. I live in New York and Los Angeles, but I love coming back to New Mexico, particularly the university, because it meant so much to me when I came here many, many years ago in 1958.
Okay, so let's talk about that. 1958, you came here and you played football.
Yes, I came down on a football scholarship. The then coach, Marvin Levy, had recruited me from New York, and the only thing I knew about New Mexico then was that the atomic bomb was built in Los Alamos and exploded in Alamogordo.
Good deal. Well, you stayed here. You went to school. You got a bachelor's. You got a master's degree. And then somehow you ended up in the field of advertising, media, and public relations. How did that happen?
Well, I got into banking. I went to work for the First National City Bank, and then a very fateful meeting took place November 1968 about getting young blacks in the business, and I decided to attend this meeting, and at that meeting, the idea of starting a magazine for Negro women was suggested, and I decided to take a risk with my other colleagues who wanted to do something to make a difference in the world, particularly in terms of celebrating the aspirations and beauty of black women.
You say you're taking a risk. Back in that day, times are very different. How much of a risk was this? Because there was not a magazine like that around. I mean, we have many today, but back then it was totally different.
Totally different. There was no magazine directed towards African American women, and that was a big risk, but it was a bold and audacious idea to try to celebrate the aspirations of black women.
Absolutely. That magazine is now called Essence.
Yes.
It is widely popular. It's online. You're all over the world. How did things change because of what you and your business partners did with the magazine?
Well, we opened up a new category in terms of serving an underserved market, in terms of letting advertisers know this is the market that had money, it was growing, it was educationally smart, and so they began to realize we better tap into this market with all the kinds of products that we have if we want to continue meeting our bottom line.
Okay. Some bumps along the road, I imagine.
Absolutely. We had very little money. When we started, we only opened our doors with $130,000 in terms of what it takes to really to start a magazine. And so, but I realized even if I had the money that I wanted, it's amazing what you can do with less. And so you make decisions in terms of how you want to run your company with less money.
Yeah, I think passion and desire drive
Absolutely.
a lot of that.
No doubt about it.
So there's no doubt, and I'm sure you see this, media is changing drastically. A lot of print publications are going away. They're going digital. How have you seen the industry change? Where do you think it's going, say, in 5 or 10 years from now?
I'm cautiously optimistic about the industry, particularly from one standpoint of view. It has to be content, and the content is always going to be what's going to drive the industry. And so I do think that magazines will use the digital components to grow their numbers. It's about eyeballs. It's about engaging and getting people to really buy into the content that you have. So I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to be all right.
Call me old-fashioned. I'm still a big fan of holding a paper magazine, a paper newspaper.
Absolutely.
I don't like reading that stuff online. I love paper books. I'd never buy a Kindle or anything like that. So you're back in town. It's homecoming week. There's also a big honor for you. Tell me about that.
Well, I was honored by the advertising industry. I was given the Hall of Fame Lifetime Achievement Award, and so to be inducted into the Hall of Fame for all the work that my company that I represent, Essence, is a true honor in terms of what Essence really means to the marketplace for black women, and it's a recognition that I so humbly appreciate.
Back in the 60s, when you got into this and started everything up, did you have any idea it would turn out and life would turn out this way?
Oh, no, no, no. It was about survival. I remember coming out when Essence made its debut in 1970. We were in the midst of a recession. I didn't know what a recession was. Yeah. So it was always about surviving, making the payroll, but making sure that that we did our job in terms of allocating the resources that we had for being able to produce the magazine.
Okay, we're sure glad you're here. I'm sure glad you've done everything that you have. When you think about UNM's football team today, you're a player back then. What do they need to do to succeed, to turn things around?
It's about talent. It's always about execution and desire to want to win. And certainly coaching is very important, but UNM is going to be okay.
You think it'll be all right?
Absolutely.
Bob Davies is a pretty darn good coach. He did some all right things with
Indeed.
that. What's that big university he was at? Notre Dame? It's an all right school. When you go back to New Mexico, is there one thing you have to do, or you have to go see, or a restaurant or anything you have to go to? One thing that really brings back great memories for you?
I love being in Old Town. but I love being on UNM because walking around UNM just brings back all the memories when I first came here in 1958. And my God, how the university has changed for the better, and the growth that has taken place and all the students that it now has.
All right, Edward Lewis, thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
You can find out more about him, what he's done for the advertising world, and more about Essence at our website. Go to krqe.com and click on links. Again, welcome back.